So in a different video I touched on why I don't use traditional to-do lists anymore and why I limit it to 3 items a day, so I'm just going to touch on that quickly. I believe that limiting your to-do list to 3 items a day is the most efficient way to maximize your productivity. Just from my experience, when researching for this video, I tried to look up where I saw this from. So I remember I saw it from somewhere, but I couldn't remember where. So it's actually from a guy called Chris Bailey, and he has a theory of the rule of 3. So that everything should be done in 3. So you should plan your day, 3 tasks a day, and plan your week. So do 3 tasks a week, and long-term goals as well, like 3 things to do in the year. Now I don't use any of them apart from the 3 times a day. The 3 things to do in the day for the to-do list. Maybe I should start. I find it difficult to kind of plan on a week per week basis, but I find that a day-to-day basis is a lot more achievable for me. So even if it's a big task, I just put that as one of my 3, because I think that limiting your to-do list to 3 things, there's basically like a 90% chance you're always going to get those 3 things done, because they're not inherently hard. Well, they might be, but there's so few of them that it doesn't feel that hard. And if you start the day, like in my last video, what I said, didn't start the day with some deep work, then the way you do it is you maybe do 1 or 2 in that deep work session, and so you do 2 by whenever you wake up. Maybe like within 2 hours of waking up, you've done 2 out of your 3 tasks of the day, and that's it. I believe you can have a separate list for the additional things you want to do, which you could do as well as these 3, but I think if you do these 3, you should be satisfied. Obviously, if something comes up that you can't control, you're not just making excuses, then obviously that's fine. But I think just if you focus on just doing these 3 things a day, then it really maximizes your productivity. And I think you should do this the night before, not the day of, because if you do it the night before, you know exactly what you're doing the day of, the day after. So you don't have to spend any time thinking about that. You already know what you're doing. There's no excuses. You've already written it down. If you want to, do it in order. So the 3 things, you have the most urgent thing at the top, and then go down and down, so that if you really think that you might not get past the first or second one, that you could do it in order from most urgent to not urgent. And these don't have to be urgent things. It can just be read 50 pages. That's a lot, but you could do that. Meditate for 20 minutes, do a practice exam question for one of your classes or courses or something like that. It's just like the 3 most essential things you want to get done this day, and then obviously if you still have energy left in you, you can look at your additional list of things that you can do as well. I have a list of like 50 items that I can always be doing, but normally I don't really get around to them, because once you've done the 3 things, you're either worn out, or it's too late, or you're too tired. It's too late in the day, it's time to get ready for bed or whatever. But yeah, I think that's the most essential way. Obviously you can do it with 1, but I think 1 or 2 really limits the amount of things you can do. Like for example, if you go to school or college or university or whatever, you can have 3 things on your list, and one of them could be school, college, one of them could be business related, and then the other one could be personal development, which I think is a really nice kind of round way of doing it. So yeah, I think that's the best way. I think having too many items on your to-do list is a really, really easy way to get overwhelmed and not actually do any of them. So I think limit it to 3 and have that additional lists if you want to do extra stuff. But I think even if like you wanted to do more than 3, if you wanted to do 5, and you plan on definitely doing 5 every day, I think maybe having the 3 in that list, and then having the other 2 or however many on the separate list, is still a better way than having all 5 on one. Because I've just found in my experience that you're way too overwhelmed. If you see, the more items you are, the more overwhelmed you're going to be. If you see a to-do list with one thing, you're like, oh, it's easy. If it's really hard, you know, you can do it because that's literally the only thing you got to do that day. So yeah, that's what I found. Obviously, Chris Bailey invented it, but I've experimented with it for a long time. I don't think that's the best way to do to-do lists. I think traditional to-do lists of having 10 plus things is just not effective at all. So yeah, experiment with it and see how it goes.